What is up, guys? Welcome back to StayTrue Tv. Super excited about this episode. Got home from work last night and we had a bit of a present. Let's go check it out. Get into this thing. All right. Big shout out to Dale at cqquads Spares and Sales in Queensland for hooking us up. A few of the parts that we've been struggling to get hold of, he's managed to get us onto a fair few of them. This one here is the one I'm most excited about. We got the new CDI units rocked up. Let's go, chuck it in the bike, do a few tests and see if we got some spark back. Alright, so we got the new unit in. So for those of you that have seen the video that I've done on the electrical, one of the issues we were having originally, which I think was the reason we ended up cooking this unit here, because that was also a new unit. When we hooked it up, we did have spark and then it disappeared. And what I found was when we cut the loom open, we had a positive and a negative hooked together. So when the power came on, the whole earth was lived up. So one of the first checks I want to make sure that with the power on, we don't have a live earth. So let's go and check that out. And if that's good, I'm thinking we're on the right track. All right, it's looking good so far. Our earth's not lived up. We've got power. Everything seems to be good. Next thing we need to see is if our starter motor's kicking over again, because that stopped kicking over when I tried heating the CDI unit up, as suggested on one of the YouTube videos I watched. Didn't work in my success, so we'll see what happens now. All right, so we're kicking over again, so the last test to check. Let's get our spark plug up here where we can see it and see if we've got a spark back. All right, we've got spark back as well. So we're on a win. So next thing we're gonna do is go ahead, put our valve adjustments back in, because I loosened all them up. When I was doing the compression test, I just wanted to make sure that the valves weren't open at the wrong time or anything like that. So we're going to go and close them back up to their specs, and then we'll put the plug in, see if we can get a fire up. So we've just gone and set the timing so that we're on top dead center. So we've got the mark in the side casing marked on the timing mark. Both rockers are both rocking. So we've closed the gap. So now we need to go ahead and set the intake to 0.06 to 0.1 mil, and then on the exhaust side we need to set that to 0.16 to 0.2 mil. So we'll go ahead and make them adjustments, close this thing up, and hopefully get this thing kicking over. Alright, we'll give it a couple of kickovers. Alright, the exhaust is good. Now we'll just check the intake, and if we're good there, we're laughing. Happy with that. Let's get these covers back on. Alright guys, moment of truth. We've gone and hooked up a fuel tank. Airbox is in. Everything's hooked up. Valve gap's done. Let's see what happens. Got a little bit of choke here so we can pull choke cable that on if we need it. Let's see what goes on here. tuning to the carby obviously because it's not running without the choke, but I'm happy with that. We're running. The motor's running, starting. We are sweet. Woo! Alright, now we know the motor's all running sweet and everything. What we're going to do is go and put all the drive, clutch and belt and everything back together so we can get this motor closed back up. Fingers crossed when we kick it over the next time, everything here pulls around, no worries, there's no strain with the gearbox being connected up and everything else. So let's go get that back together. Just to separate it so we can slide the belt in. So as this belt's climbing up on this one here, it's getting more snug on the centre of the smaller one of the clutch side. As you can see, it's starting to come together now. There we go. The battery's a bit doughy, so we'll see how we go. Sweet! We're on a win here. Casing's on. Now I just noticed, I forgot when I was messing around before, I was playing with this cable. This is our throttle adjust and I completely had it backed off, so I'm thinking if we tension that up where it's hitting the butterfly, I reckon we'll have our get our idle back. That feels like it's just touching there, so we'll see how that goes. Not throttling yet though. Little bit of throttle. Yeah, so once it's all warmed up and everything, this is going to be sweet anyway, so we're just going to continue on for now. Might pull off this front guard and start working on that, get that exhaust off because we want to clean that up before that thing goes back on there. And just keep moving on. This is definitely a good day. Making progress. So it's just about to start taking everything apart. Then remembered I got all the full drive and everything set up, so I thought let's give it a check and see what happens. Now I don't know if you hear it or not, but oh yeah, diff engagement. This is all working good. Always a good sign. Right, front fender's off. Exhaust is out. Let's go get this plastic sorted out. Alright guys, same as the last one, we need to get these plates off first up, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and drill these off of the gun. see there how much a little different bit of heat makes to something like this. Before I heated it, it was just brittle and just cracking off. As soon as I heated it up a little bit, it gave it a little bit of elasticity so we could just peel the rest off, so that's fantastic. Alright, let's keep going. Alright guys, so the other thing I've just noticed here is, I'm assuming from it sitting for so long, this guard here is pushed in and it's started pushing a little bit there. So what we're going to do is just heat it up and see if we can just straighten that out a little bit. It's definitely looking a lot better than it was. I don't know what we're going to do about this. We're missing a whole section here, same as this section here. It's all been cut away for some reason. Looks like it's been ground out or something. We don't have that no longer. Whether it's going to be an issue or not, I'm not 100% sure. I'll go and just have a bit more of a look and come back and see what we come up with. I've just gone and checked out what this part does here, that they've cut away from here, and what it does is it protects the radiator and stuff like that. So it's semi-big, but it's semi-not so big. But I'm going to have a crack at something here. I'm definitely not going to go get a new fairing because I may as well buy a whole new quad bike and set my divorce on file. But what we've gone and done is I've gone and mirrored this piece here over to here. Then I went out into the kids' sand pit, found an old bin lid that they've been using, which feels about the same kind of density of plastic as this, and I've traced it inside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that out and see if we can just attach it in here, and then once we're done with the attachment, we'll go over it with some JB plastic weld, mend it all in there. It's not going to look the greatest because it's a little bit different. Obviously it's not blue, but it'll be doing its job, protecting what it's supposed to be protecting, and we should be sweet. So let's go ahead, cut this out and see how we go. Alright, we'll go and clean this up, get rid of all the burrs, get some fresh plastic going, try and attach this sucker. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, once the solder warms up, we're just going to solder that down here, heat it so it sticks, and we might try and heat it up and just bend it so it comes into place with this. Then we should be able to melt that bit together, and then once we've done that, we should be pretty well right. Worst case, we might have to heat this a little bit out again, and then once we've done that, JB weld, leave it overnight, should be sweet. Alright, so far so good. We've got it all mended together down here. I say this is just to hold it in place kind of thing, and then once we put the JB weld on it, that's where the strength comes into this. Just got one more spot around here. I wouldn't mind just heating up, pressing it in so we can get it to the parent plastic. Then once that's in place, we'll stick that, we'll melt that together. Then we'll go flip it over the other side, melt all the joins together on that side. Go put the JB weld on it, and we should be sweet. Alright guys, so I was just about to start welding over the other, getting the glue on the other side, and then I thought I'd just check over the rest of the guard, see what's around. Now I noticed a big chunk missing out of here, so I went through, got the footwell where it was still attached to, so luckily that was still attached. We've got that back on, but as you can see, I've gone and attached it to the plastic, and there's a massive missing amount of plastic at the bottom there. So what I've gone and done is got a bit of that bucket lid that we had, the bin lid that I used on that guard over that side, just cut it into like a little strip. What I'm going to do is try and use it like a filler rod and just slowly melt it into that join, so at least when it JB Weld goes on there, it's got something that it's actually covering. Alright, fingers crossed we don't find any more damage. So I just went and plugged that hole also, because when I had to get the old bolt out, it was that rusted and I couldn't get it out, so I had to use a grinder. When I ground the bolt, obviously it got hot and pulled through the plastic, making a bigger hole. So just gone and mended that up as well, so when it comes to fitting the footwells, we can just drill new holes, bolt it together, should be sweet. Alright, we're all glued up. But for today, we are done. Gonna let that set overnight. Come back tomorrow and do a little bit more. There's a lot more work on this guard than I expected. I didn't realise that part there was missing. Didn't realise the side part was missing over there. We've got all that all back together now. This glue will dry and should be sweet. That stuff dries hard as hell. And then we'll be able to start flipping it over. Start scraping the outside and getting this thing looking pretty and back on the bike. Can't wait. Exciting times. Till then, we'll catch you tomorrow. Alright guys, so it's the next day. We're going to get in, get the razor over this thing, scrape all the top off, wet rub it, and get some heat into it. Let's see what we can get smashed out. Alright, so we've gone and wet rubbed it all down. This is in quite bad shape compared to the rear one. As you can see, it's got a lot of white pigmentation through it. Obviously sitting for so long, weather and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see how the heat gun goes with this one. See how it rocks out. Got our new piece in there. That's just to protect the radiator and stop stuff from getting into the fans. So we're going to go ahead, give this a bit of a wipe down, then start heating it up and see how we go. Alright guys, so it's the next day. First thing we're going to get into, we're going to clean this breather up, chuck that up in the frame, bolt it in, so we can start looking at getting this front fairing on. Alright guys, so we're going to call that a wrap for this video. Got the front fender on, got all the grill in, got the bonnet in, we've got the motor started. That's a big one. I was starting to wonder on how we're going to get it out of the shed, whether I was going to have to make up a pedal setup or something for it. Start pedaling my way out of the shed just to finish this video off, but nah. We got it in the end. Obviously some wiring issues there. We got down and sorted it out, and we got some fire up. So that's sweet as now. So it's mainly cosmetic, and once we get all the cosmetic stuff sorted out, then we can start working on brakes and brake lines, running all them kind of things. Still got to go and clean up all the wheels, exhaust and stuff like that for the powder coating. Get the powder coating and painting done on the exhaust. Once it's done, should look awesome. Like, it's already looking great from what it was when I bought it in that trailer. It just looked like a big piece of snot. So it's starting to really come together now. Now that motor's running, I reckon we should be sweet, start smooth sailing. Hopefully my selector pins and stuff start rocking up, so we can start getting that in, get the airbox down, start bolting all the back fairing and stuff on there, get the rear breather in. That should be sweet. Enjoying the footage? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video. Ways that I could be doing things better, even maybe cleaning the fairings, like if you've got a better idea of how to do it, let us know in the comments below. I'll be reading them. But as for now, stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.